Hi, and welcome back to Get Started with React Native. In this lesson, I want to teach you a core concept of each React Native app: components. In fact, they are also essential for normal React projects. Components are the building blocks of your application. They define what the user can see and handle interaction between them and your app. Let's look at the simple Hello World example. You define your component using ES6 syntax by importing the component class from React and extending it with our Hello World class. Each component you create must have a render function that uses JSX syntax to return markup. JSX is a syntax for embedding XML within JavaScript. It uses angle brackets just like HTML does. Here we render a text component that contains Hello World. This component also needs to be imported, this time from the React Native package. You have created your first component. Great! You can now import it within your app and use it. Each app has a root component that nests all other components. This root component is defined by the app registry. You can import it from the React Native package as well, and call register component on it. You pass the component name as a string as well as an anonymous function that returns the class. When you put that into your index.js file, the result will be like shown on the right. You might have also wondered why there are two index files. I just want to address this briefly, since it's more of an advanced topic. Since you are building cross-platform apps, you sometimes have platform-specific code or components. Whenever this is the case, you can extend the file name with .ios or .android, and React Native will automatically load the correct file for you. If you want to learn more about that, check out the React Native's guide on platform-specific code. Just having a static component is not very useful most of the times. Let's look at an advanced Hello World example, where we greet specific people. In this case, we have two components, a greeting one and the advanced Hello World component. The render function of our root component uses two different components, as you can see. View, which is a wrapper to layout and style child components, as well as the one we defined, greeting. We need the wrapping component, since the root can have only one component on the first level. As you can see, we are calling greeting with a name attribute. This is called a prop in React. It allows you to pass data to your components from a higher level. In our case, we are greeting Alice and Bob. Let's apply what we learned so far to our course project. I have created a new project called Get Started for the course. You can either call React Native in it yourself, or check out the initial commit from the course repository. I'm going to work in index.ios.js, but you need to choose your platform if you follow along. Everything I use is platform independent. First of all, let's strip the example code to the bare minimum. We don't yet need style sheets, and we don't need the rendered content. Let's also clean up the imports. We don't use the style sheet class yet, so let's remove it. Everything else can stay. You always need to import React itself, otherwise your code won't compile. Our finished project displayed a map view as well as some data about the route we're currently taking. Let's add those components and lay out them roughly. First of all, we need a map view. There is a whole lesson about it later in the course, so for now I'm using a text component displaying map view. Since we want to display more than just one component, we need to add a view wrapper to do this. In fact, we are going to create a more complex hierarchy here. First, let's create a wrapper view that holds all the data about the run. I'm going to create a new component for this in a second, but let's use it already. The component name will be run_info, and it will get a title and a value prop. I'm going to add 3 data fields: distance, speed, and direction. Let's add the new component. To show you how you can import custom components from a separate file, I'm going to create one called run_info.js and place it in a folder called components. This keeps our project nice and organized. Now we need to create the component. First, import the necessary classes from the React and React Native packages. I will need component, text, and view. Then export the run_info class as default and extend it from component. Finally, we need a render method. I'm going to add a wrapper view like before, and within 2 text components. One holds the title, the other one the value prop. Back in our index file, we have to import the component with the import statement. You can reference the file relatively by adding a dot in front of the path. That's it. Even though our app looks extremely ugly at the moment, we created a basic view hierarchy. Let's recap. Components are the building blocks of your React Native app. They can be created by extending the component class of the React Native package and be used by other components in the render function. The root component needs to be registered with the app registry and is the starting point of your application. It can only contain one root level component. Components can be passed parameters, called props, that change the look or behavior of it. To use dynamic content within your JSX file, surround it with curly braces. Finally, the view component is used to layout and style your app. In the next lesson, we will clean up the mess we just created by introducing styles and style sheets to the project. See you there!